It was a phenomenal fight. Volk dictated the range the entire time. He was very. One thing that I was thinking about is like Volk, while you don't go back and watch many of his fights, uh, he just genuinely is almost. He's just too smart. Not too smart. That's not what I want to say. He's like his fight IQ is just so high, and his risk mitigation is so high that it makes him not a super enjoyable fighter. But because of that risk mitigation, he has been able to be called the greatest featherweight of all time. And his ability to mitigate risk is crazy. Like Diego obviously wants to get into a barn burner, and his chin is made of titanium. Somehow Volk would engage in these bar fights with him. You know, they'd get in close, they'd stand in the pocket, and Volk like knew exactly what he wanted to do and exactly what to expect from Diego whenever he did, so that he came out clean every time and circled out. And it's just phenomenal fighting to watch. I mean, both guys super high skilled. I felt like Diego Lopez was a lot more composed. Again, his aura was insane. I felt like he was a lot more composed, and I was worried about that. I was like, this dude's got something up his sleeve. There's a point in the fight that I was like, he might win this, and I don't really know why. He hasn't really shown me anything, but there's just kind of that aura that's hanging around. Ultimately, I think his composure probably lost him the fight, which is unfortunate. But I rewatched the first fight between them, and he was so like hyperactive. You could just see it was almost like he was anxious and was just like, I want to engage with you because that will make me less anxious. It'll make me feel better if I can just engage in a brawl with you and make me more comfortable. And it's like Volk knew that and was like, I'm not going to give you that. Sorry, dude. And this time it seemed like Diego was like, all right, we're playing that game. We're playing the high level striking. This is going to be a chess match. Let's do it. And I just think Volk just walked away with it. I think the game Volk was playing was much different than Diego's. But I think that's just from his experience. I think it's his ability to adjust. And I don't know, lost my train of thought there. But Diego Lopez, phenomenal fighter. I'm going to keep, I'll be watching him till he's done. Volk, I'd like to see right out in the sunset here soon. If he gets Murphy, that would be awesome. That's going to be a quick fight. I would love to see Volk get a finish, but I just don't think he puts himself in positions. Like I said, it's risk mitigation at this point. As a 38-year-old man, he's like, I'm not taking any risks, But it's smart because it's like you take risks against a guy like Diego Lopez who just sparks people and you lose your belt just because you were like, I'm going to get fancy here and I'm going to try and go for a finish for whatever reason. But I still think what I was going to say earlier in the podcast. I'm going to get out of the screen so I can rant appropriately. I still think that the Islam Makhachev Alexander Volkanovski first fight, I still think Volk won that. I'd like to go watch or check Verdict MMA. I'm fairly certain they posted something that showed that basically everyone watching had scored at Volk to win that fight versus Islam. And I just hate that, like, that's where, like, a huge dislike of Islam. Like, I really do love Islam as a person. I think he's actually a great guy. I think he's a great competitor. He seems super respectful. And I like that a lot. But he's just been in moments that I'm just like, dude. Like, his win over Volk was just very, how do I put this? You expect him to beat Volk. And then he, to the public's opinion, does not beat him. And he celebrates it like he won, the title, which he did win the title, so that makes sense. But I genuinely thought Volk won that, and I think that would have solidified him as the number one overall pound-for-pound GOAT, to be honest.